We're getting a new snapshot on how downtowns across the Bay Area are doing when it comes to visitors. Two of our biggest cities are enjoying an uptick over the past year, while one is seeing a pretty big drop. Visits to downtown San Jose jumped more than 28%. Downtown Oakland visits jumped more than 20%. But visits to downtown San Francisco actually fell about 21%. That's according to a report from the University of Toronto, which analyzed cell phone data. San Jose is hoping to build on its momentum by filling some of its vacant storefronts. 5 new pop-up shops are open for business along Paseo de San Antonio between 3rd and 4th Streets, not far from San Jose State. Lem Ramirez looks at the new program meant to breathe life into empty spaces and give small business owners a boost.
Cutting the ribbon and bringing down the barriers. It's all part of a big idea in downtown San Jose to activate vacant storefronts and give 5 businesses a helping hand.
It's wild to see the growth from making these in my kitchen to now having a retail opportunity, and not only to sell my handmade candles, but to also teach them.
Marcelina Castro started making candles in 2018. Her Miji Serra candle shop is now one of the pop-ups that just moved into 2 vacant storefronts on El Paseo de San Antonio. She shares space with La Paloma Imports and Cositas Contreras. Across the Paseo, Plant Slut and Bad Witch Crystal share a space. All 5 businesses are women-owned.
The fact that we're actually here when 3 weeks ago this was a completely empty space, and now being able to make it our own and spice it up, we're so blessed.
The program is called Moment Paseo. It's a collaboration between the City of San Jose and the Downtown Association to help businesses get started and hopefully generate a buzz in foot traffic. The association pays the rent and the businesses pay back a portion based on their sales.
It's kind of almost like a trial pad, for very small micro businesses to experience what it takes to run a business and whether they could potentially go bigger and eventually lease a market rate space and have a big space on their own.
But it's not without challenges. The businesses must stay open a minimum number of hours, and if another business paying full rent wants their space, the pop-ups might have to move out. First day's sales were good, but the businesses will soon find out what it takes to survive on the streets long term, and if they can go from pop-up to up and coming.
San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan says there are about 70 vacant storefronts in the downtown area, and that's down slightly from 80 a year ago. San Francisco has its own version of a pop-up program to boost its downtown recovery. It's called Vacant to Vibrant, and it launched last fall, leading to 17 pop-ups in 9 storefronts, some of which have now transitioned to long-term leases. And Mayor London Breed just announced a new lineup of local businesses that'll be taking part in the program, ranging from coffee to ice cream. Ooh, that sounds good, like a day like today. Floral shops and social clubs. Meantime, Oakland is seeing an uptick in downtown foot traffic, even though many offices remain empty and crime concerns continue. Our Da Lin spoke to small business owners working to draw people in.
At this downtown Oakland bar, it's wine with a twist.
Women only make up 5% of the industry, and people of color make up probably 3%, and Black producers make up 1%. And the wine industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So what I wanted to do is reverse engineer the industry and provide retail space specifically for the underrepresented winemakers and give them a platform to my audience. From Barcelona.
Business owner Alicia Kidd says all the wines at her tasting room are made by women and people of color.
I wanted to bring the wine country, Napa and Sonoma, to Oakland.
Coco Noir Wine Shop and Bar opened at the corner of 13th and Webster Streets in December of 2022. Alicia says business initially got off to a very strong start.
With the crime, it has, my business has decreased in sales, but it's slowly trending upward now that, the spring and summer is coming.
Many owners say the biggest challenge is crime. Some experienced repeated burglaries and robberies.
It has impacted my business in a sense that customers are afraid to come to Oakland. So I've had to invest thousands of dollars in marketing to get customers to come.
Elected leaders say they hear them and are working to reduce crime. Many here say they chose to invest in the city, and despite all the challenges, they still believe in Oakland.
What adds color to and vibrancy to the city is actually the small businesses and the people behind these businesses.
Alicia agrees and says thriving businesses is a reflection of a thriving city.
Increase safety, invest in security. I think that's number one. I think safety is the ultimate concern, because customers are not going to come if their cars are being broken into.
Business owners continue to urge people outside of Oakland to come shop and dine here. Some businesses will even reimburse Lyft and Uber rides with the purchase.
Still ahead, we take you across the bridge for a look at San Francisco's downtown. Why even the most popular places are still struggling to get visitors to come, and how the city is pulling out all the stops to try to change that. There's a look at that iconic Golden Gate Bridge. This afternoon, we're diving into new numbers on downtown visitor activity in our big cities. San Francisco saw a drop of more than 21% in the 12 months ending in March, according to a report by the University of Toronto. But it may depend on where you're looking. Our Da Lin headed to one very popular SF tourist spot to see how it compares there versus the rest of the city.
Live jazz, warm weather, and happy visitors. This is music to the ears of Pier 39 business owners.
We're coming from London. We just landed yesterday.
While business activity is buzzing at Pier 39, that's not the case everywhere.
Waiting for the tourists to come and for the season to really get going. And as you can see on a Sunday afternoon brunch, it's not happening.
Mac Liebert of Pier 23 Cafe says they are surviving, not thriving. In fact, he says business was down about 25 to 30% in 2023 compared to 2019.
You need people coming through the door to survive, and when they're not coming, it's hard to keep doors open.
He's not alone. Many small businesses complain they're still recovering from the pandemic.
You guys can hop on this one here.
The owner of San Francisco Deluxe Tours tells me his tour bus business is down about 40% in 2023 compared to 2019.
I'm the oldest guy out here at 77.
Pedicab operator Corral Nunnick says his business is down at least 20%.
We've been having to work harder for less cash, basically. 2019 was good. 2023, the thing that has died is the international tourist.
And that's what industry leaders are blaming, specifically the Asian market. Scott Beck, the CEO of San Francisco Travel, says only about 50% of the Chinese tourists have returned. And traditionally, he says, Chinese visitors spend big money in San Francisco.
Pre-pandemic, China was our largest long-haul overseas market. Over $2 billion a year of spend in our market. Right now, capped by the governments of the US and governments of China, air service is capped right now at 50% of pre-pandemic levels. So we can't get back to the normal, what we would call normal baseline visitation, because you do not have the seats in the airplanes to make it happen.
He says LA gets a lot more domestic visitors, and the domestic visitation has pushed the Southern California tourism industry well beyond the 2019 levels. Experts say SoCal's strong rebound is what's driving up the entire state's tourism spending.
Our record-breaking tourism numbers last year, $150 billion.
The governor made the announcement on top of the iconic Golden Gate Bridge. The CEO of Pier 39 says they've been fortunate. Their sales were flat compared to 2019.
The convention business is still down, and for 24, we expect it to be down and really not rebound until 25 and beyond.
Max says while tourism spending is trending in the right direction, San Francisco still has a lot of work ahead, especially on its image and reputation.
We're really hanging our hat on that it's going to be good and tourism's going to come back and people are going to want to go out and spend money.
Da says San Francisco industry experts predict the number of Chinese tourists to return to the 2019 levels by 2026. San Francisco is also trying to get folks downtown with new events like First Thursdays Festival. Several blocks on 2nd Street south of Market were shut down last week while people ate food from local vendors. It's always really fun, and danced to music and enjoyed the art. And Mayor London Breed wants to turn part of the financial district into an entertainment zone. It would even allow controlled public drinking during outdoor events and activities on Front Street between California and Sacramento Street. Still ahead, field trips to the state capitol aren't the only draw to Sacramento these days. We look at the events and entertainment making it a downtown destination. And remember, you can watch us anytime, anywhere on our streaming service, CBS News Bay Area. Catch all of our live newscasts plus news and weather updates throughout the day. You can find us on the free CBS News app or on Pluto TV. This half hour, we've been talking about what's drawing visitors to the Bay Area these days, and especially the downtown areas. Joining me live now to help us get the bigger picture of all this is Jeff Bellisario, the Executive Director of the Bay Area Council Economic Institute. Thanks for joining us, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, let's start with the good news. What's driving the uptick in visitors to downtown San Jose and Oakland?
Well, I think part of this is just a rebound, right? Like both of those areas were down over the past 3 or 4 years. So, and I think both downtowns have really made an effort around retail, nightlife experiences to really drive people into those cities. And I think that works. You know, as we think about cities across our region, it's almost about creating something that's Instagrammable, right? It's not relying on people just showing up, coming to work, wanting to go out to dinner. You really have to create those experiences and those places where people want to be. And I think that's driving some of that recovery today.
So what's going on in San Francisco? Tourism down 21%. That's a big number.
Well, I do think as you dig into the numbers, a lot of that's based off of cell phone movement out of that study. So part of that is still a decline in office workers and office workers not coming back in high numbers. Part of that is tourism being down. Part of that's the convention business still being down. So San Francisco, as we think about tourism, visitation, downtown recovery, that really is the epicenter of a lot of the challenges in our region today.
Yeah, I mean, it has the benefit of the name recognition, right? You can go anywhere in the world. You say you're from San Francisco, they know exactly what you're talking about. But how much do the negative narratives that the city's received recently, talking about homelessness, crime, how much does that impact folks' decisions to visit here?
I think that is a big part of it. I mean, a big part, and just economics in terms of flights here, and people cutting back on spending generally across the U.S. But I do think when tourists and visitors are making those cost-benefit equations, San Francisco is a relatively high-cost place to visit. And we're seeing in the news, depending on which media outlet, San Francisco has drug use is everywhere, homelessness everywhere, crime is everywhere. None of those things are actually true, but that does tend to be the media narrative nationally and globally. And that can drive changes in visitor rates. And we've seen that have an impact. I think the bigger impact there is really around conventions. When meeting planners are looking for cities to book conventions, they want to make sure that they can get hotel rooms, they want to make sure that their people are safe and happy on the streets. And I think that is a concern for many people nationally today when they think about San Francisco.
So how does the Bay Area rank when it compared to other parts of the state, say Los Angeles, or for the country for that matter, when it comes to tourism and downtown foot traffic?
Well, we're toward the bottom, right? And I think that's going to be, if we look where we were pre-pandemic, so as a percentage change, right? We've really taken the biggest hit of any place from where we were in 2019. We're still a global gateway, a global tourist destination, but we have seen the biggest shift. Whether you look at hotel occupancy, flights coming in and out, the price of those hotels, our activity downtown, we generally rank near the bottom there. I mean, that's the very negative view, right? If you compare to 2019, that's the glass half empty. The glass half full is that we are coming back in a bit. I do think in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, that media narrative has shifted a bit. We've had some great news in the past year coming out of APEC. We were kind of in the national spotlight there. We do see those international tourists coming back. But all the data points to, cheaper, warmer places are winning right now. It's the Phoenix and the Austin and the Denver. Those tend to be the vacation tourism hotspots of the day, and not quite San Francisco. And I think we can get back to where we were in 2019, but it does take that narrative, and I think it does take take some time to change that.
Yeah, hopefully it continues an upward trend, hopefully, as the other cities have. All right, Jeff Bellisario, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
To our north in the Sacramento area, it's all about food and entertainment lately. Everything from rock concerts to food festivals to conventions are providing a big boost to their local economy. Visit Sacramento says the impact that tourism brings there is over $4 billion.
In 2023, Visit Sacramento generated 332,000 hotel room nights. That's the most we've generated in our 97-year history.
And in nearby Placer County, focusing on hosting sports tournaments to draw in visitors. They can draw more than 5,000 people a day and bring in people from out of state.
Between volleyball, basketball, even pickleball. Every weekend we have some sort of tournament happening here. We even do quad ball, which is a spin off of the Quidditch game in Harry Potter books.
I'm dying to play quad ball. I don't know what it is, but it sounds really fun. Sacramento and Placer both say they could host even larger events if more tourism infrastructure was added, like more hotel rooms and facilities. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for joining us for today's conversation on our downtown visitor trends across the Bay Area. We'd love to hear what you think. Post your thoughts online using the hashtag KPIX. The CBS Evening News is next right here on CBS News Bay Area. Local news continues on our streaming service. I'll see you at 5.
Thanks for watching. You can get the latest headlines and weather over on PIX Plus. And remember to like and click the button on the bottom left of your screen to subscribe for the biggest Bay Area news.